Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. So in this video I want to share with you guys, a lot of you may have heard about it, but there's this minister in Kenya that his bodyguard released bullets on him and ended him. Okay, and I think, let me see what he said. He is minister for, let me just be sure I say it right, Uganda's state minister for labor, employment and industrial relations. His name is Charles Okello Gola. Okay, now that's his name. So this is his bodyguard. The bodyguard did this at his house, at his own house. There are actually pictures that I saw of him lying just by the car on the ground, and he was gone, right? And after he did that, after the bodyguard did that, okay, the bodyguard walked on the street and he was yelling and he was, and releasing bullets in the air as he's walking, and he said, how can I work for a minister and be broke? Basically, how can I be, working for a minister and be suffering or be poor and not be rich and not be comfortable, right? And to be honest with you guys, let me say it, it's sad what happened. I do not believe for a second that that is the solution to this bodyguard's problem. I do not believe that because you're not happy with the way your life is to go end somebody's life, and no, I do that. That's of course that's wrong, right? But when I sat down and I started processing, sometimes I say it, some things happen. I think a bit deeper about it, and I'm thinking about the fact that it must be hard. It must be hard to work for someone that is up there in power. Forget about this man now. Just imagine rich people and their houseboys and housegirls, rich people and their gate man, driver, nannies, chefs, and all of these. And let's actually be honest on this area. Obviously, what this guy has done is wrong. But I want us to actually use it as an opportunity to sit down and process some things, right? That this is why somebody like me could never be somebody's house girl. I could never be it, because I can't imagine living a life where I get to look at you and see how amazing your life is, and I can't have that. There's people that are house girls and they are wearing ripped clothes, they're wearing rags or whatever, and you can see the oga and madam's children wearing the latest clothes, wearing the latest everything. What about homes where, what about homes where, because there are different angles to this, right? There are a lot of politicians. I made a video in which I said, I don't know Uganda, I've never been to Uganda, I don't know how their politics is, but I'm trying to apply it to my country, Nigeria, right? When you look at a lot of these politicians and all these, I made a video in which I was saying that a lot of the people in power, they depend on the poverty of the poor to continue to enjoy some of the benefits that they enjoy. I can tell you that I live abroad, right? Here, rarely you find someone that has a driver. Rarely. Do you know why? Because a driver's salary is equivalent to your own salary. So how you go take pay? How are you going to pay for the driver? Because the salary of that driver is most likely about the salary, your own salary, or maybe not small to your own day pass. So what money will you spend to feed your family and everything? But in Nigeria, you can pay them whatever and claim, I have a house girl, I have this, I have a driver, and you find out how much they pay these people. They are paid peanuts. So coming to think about our politicians, there should be one of recently they were talking about politicians that domestic staff and people that work under him are like 50 something. You know why? Because labor is so cheap. You can get the poor at any price. But what happens? There's this saying, something about one day, how did they say? Something like one day there will be nothing left. There will be nothing left for the poor to eat but the rich. Something like that. I can't remember how they phrase something like that. For someone to get to the point, I've never been to Uganda, let me do that disclaimer. But this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about it using my Nigerian society. My Nigerian society is what I'm applying to this, right? Because for somebody to decide that today he's ready to end you and end himself, he has gone to the brink. He has gone to the point where he felt like there's no more point to continue to exist. And what will make somebody get to that point? That is the question. Another thing is this. I thought about it as well. I said, but as far as I know, as the military, it looks like a military man. He was wearing army clothing. But I'm thinking to myself, if he's a military man, I don't believe that the minister pays him directly. I mean, not the government go to pay. I don't know. So it has to, if I'm mistaken, correct me. So would it be the government that pays for these people to have bodyguards? You know, I don't believe they pay themselves. So if it's the government that is paying him, so it's not this man's fault, whatever his salary is. And then I saw that the man is the minister for, let me say it again because minister for employment, Abi. The man is the minister for labor, employment and industrial relations. You know, so the man hold better position in a way, right? Why am I making this video? I am hoping that stories like this will make a lot of our people in power, politicians. We can only hope. Sit back and think. I'm talking about Nigeria. I'm not talking about Uganda. I've never been there. I'm only applying this story to Nigerian society, right? For our politicians to sit back and think and say, all these people that work under me, are they actually doing okay? Are their situations okay? Are they actually in positions where their lives are actually worth living? Let me tell you, if this man's life, if this man felt that his life is worth living, I do not believe he would have done what he did. I do not believe so. So, to now see people that work, coming back to Nigeria, speaking about Nigeria, when you see the poverty of the poor in Nigeria, and you see the richness of the rich of our politicians, it will make you sit down and question, what kind of a heart do these people have? If a lot of Nigerians know how rich Nigeria is, they will cry. Nigeria is so rich. But the thing, when they talk about corruption and embezzlement and all of these things, what happens is, it's not like robbing the people. No, they are robbing the people blind. To a great extent, they are embezzling to the point of, like, let's imagine, if I've said it before, if they are embezzling, let's say 50%, it will not be too bad. I'm not saying they should, they shouldn't, but I'm even saying, just to show you the magnitude of this embezzlement. If they're even embezzling 60%, but from what I see, the embezzlement is like 95%. The other 5% is what they sprinkle. And that's why we're not having good roads. Because the money that's supposed to go to it has been stolen with just a signature with a pen. What about good hospitals? The money that has been assigned, or the money that's supposed to be used, has been stolen with just a pen and a signature. What about good schools? When you see Nigerian primary schools, that the children are still sitting on the floor in 2023. I went to primary school in Nigeria, and I can tell you, that's why my father, you know, my father shit soft small. My father was not, we're not struggling, we're still okay, you know, to a good extent we're okay. My father had to make me my own chair and table that I take to school and back, and other children will be sitting on the floor. That was how many years ago? I'm talking about 40 years ago. And 40 years later, the same problem of 40 years ago, I'm talking about when I was in primary school, the same problem of 40 years ago still exists today. Are we going forwards or backwards? The embezzlement has not stopped. Let me tell you, in the day Nigerians will vex, that's the thing, we have never vexed enough in that country. The day Nigerians will vex, you know, Fela sang a song, he said, Nigerians will never want to do anything about the situation because somebody will be like, I know I won't die, I know I won't quench, mama day for house, I never marry, I won't marry, I go soon born. Well, whatever, there's a lot of reasons why Nigerians don't get to that point of saying, you know what, enough is enough. I'm not coming to criticize that. What I'm saying is that Nigerians have not got to the point of a man like this that said, you know what, F it all. But the thing is, you see goat, no matter how foolish you say a goat is, if you chase a goat to the wall, and the goat ran to that wall, and there's no more way for that goat to run, that goat will turn around and face you. And I believe in my heart that Nigeria is getting to that point. It's getting bad. Nigerians are getting, a lot of Nigerians, I believe, are getting to that point. If nothing is done, and if a change doesn't come, I'm sorry, but let's be honest, we may end up getting to the point where people will feel like, enough is enough. I spoke earlier about people that are house girls, and I say I can never be anybody's house girl. I would rather go and be begging on the streets. I have younger sisters that have done house girl thing. You see, my father, when we were born, my father was a rich man, but things changed. You know, when our father, I'm laughing already. When my father was a rich man, my older siblings were able to go on holidays I'm going to my uncle's house. I'm going to my auntie's. And my mother really wanted us to kind of know her family. So she always had every opportunity to push, you know, my older ones that I was still too young, to go spend time with them, just so that she always wanted it to be like her children know her family. But by the time it got to me, we were no longer rich people. But as God will have it, I grew up with my father. My father never sent me to go be with anybody. But those my siblings that grew up with my mother was sending them to go and do house girl, left, right, and center. And if they tell you their stories, do you know what it is to be in an uncle's house or an auntie's house? To go and do house girl. You see, when my father was a rich man, my siblings were never used as house boys or girls. They went to visit uncles and aunties, and they were treated like, you know, nephew and nieces and their cousins, you know. They mingle with their cousins. But when my father became a poor man, I don't know what. I'm laughing already. My mother said, that's why I like you. No matter what you will just laugh over it. When we became poor, my siblings that were growing up with my mother, she would send them to go and be doing house girl. If they tell you their stories, how do you know what it is to be looking at people that are supposed to be your cousins, and you see them wearing nice clothes, you're looking through the window at your own cousins and you are admiring their life. But you that you're a cousin, you're a house girl. You're living in such situation that makes you feel sorry for your life. Do you know what I mean? It must be. When I hear them, I never experienced it though, but when they share their stories, I sit back and you know, it must be hard to live in a situation whereby you get to see people enjoy some nice things, but you can't because you were poor or because you're the child of a poor man. These are the reasons why some people have done, some house girls have done things. Some gate men have done things. Is it Charles or Jabi Charles, whatever? There was one guy that time that they caught that they say he was, I'm not supporting what he did though. I'm not supporting it, but I just want to speak about this aspect of it. I don't know his name now. That they caught. He's a Nigerian man. He's still locked up by now. Shebi that one said when he started, it was his Oga's child. The first person he kidnapped was the daughter of his Oga. Because he's living there and he can see that this my Oga get money. He kidnapped the daughter of the Oga and asked for ransom, but they didn't know it was him. And that was his first time he made money. And he continues at the kidnapping left, right, and center. I'm going back to the fact that being surrounded by people that have it, and you are making whatever, I don't know what, you know, whatever income, that you can never get to that point where you get to see this amazing life and you know you can't have it, can push people to different directions. Is it right to do the wrong things? No, of course it's not. But I'm just speaking about the fact that nobody will poverty good for anybody. Poverty is not good for anybody. You know, situations can push people to do things that you can never imagine. It's sad. I feel sorry for this minister. I don't know if he has family and children, whatever. I do not believe what this guy has done is right. You know, of course it's not right. But I wanted to speak on this other aspect of, you know, the poverty of the poor. Poverty can push people to where they would lose it in the head. You know, every day I'm hoping and praying that our politicians in Nigeria one day will think twice about the situation they have left the cities. I'll say it again, I do not know Uganda. I don't know their politics. I don't know anything happening in Uganda. So I'm only borrowing that story to apply to our politicians. And I'm hoping that stories like this will make our politicians sit back, you know, and question themselves and ask themselves, are they doing the right thing? Because one day, I believe that one day, I pray, the way things are going, one day, the poor may rise. The poor may rise. And if they rise, it will not be funny. It will not be funny. Nobody will poverty good for anybody. Come to Western society and see the way they are organized. There is job availability, going to school. There's nothing like ASU strike. ASU is striking because they have not been paid for a long time. And children that are supposed to finish school in 4 years are finishing in 6, 7, whatever number of years. They are not paid. But politicians our Nigerian politicians send their children abroad for the best education in the world, best healthcare in the world, everything abroad. It's only a matter of time. One day, if the poor may snap, they may snap. You know, anyways, that's what I wanted to say about this. As always, whatever your opinions are, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.